Here we go again with Cicero. Causam tu nullum reperibas. You will find no cause in Sextus Roscius. At ego, but I, reperio, I will find one in T. Roscius, Tullius Roscius. Ticum enum mihi res, for the matter is to me, ticum with you. Titus Roscius, the vocative form, doesn't have the US on it. Sense istic seds. Istic's looking down on him, really. And acti, and you, parlam, the adverb, openly profiteris, you confess to be the adversary. This is a verb of speaking, taking this sum form of essay, which is the present. So, you'll find no cause or reason, Sextus Roscius, but I'll find one in T. Roscius. For this whole matters with you, Titus Roscius, since you were there on this seat and this bench, and openly you confess that you are the adversary. De Capitone. Concerning Capitone, post afterwards, videremus. We'll see to Capitone afterwards. C. If, quam ad modum, audio, as I hear, taking the infinitive, he is prepared to quam ad modum, to proterite, to come forwards, just as, quam ad modum, you can put that together without the spaces, just as a witness, testis. So we'll see to him later, if as I hear, he's prepared fully to act in the way of, and come forwards, if he shall have come forwards as a witness, a testis. Tum, then, alias, other, quoque also, suis palmas, palms, signs of victories, they come from bay trees and laurels, I think they're called. So then also, your other laurels, cognoscet, concerning which de quiz, here we go, ne quidem, not even, it is suspected for him, because it's passive, you don't even think that me or Dissy that I have heard. Okay, so I don't think there's any typos there. Okay, so I made quam ad modum in the top 2,000 words, the adverb of the day, the word of the day, as just as, in the way as how, to the extent that. So as much as I hear he's coming forwards to be a witness. Okay, then he will get to know of his other palms, which he doesn't at all suspect me to have heard of. So L. Cassius, Illy, this is all opposition. So Illy sometimes means the famous guy, or even a hero. This L. Cassius, quam, whom the populus Romanum, the Roman people, they're described in a singular fashion here, just with the US. The Roman people, they putabat, they think of him as a verissimum and a sapientissimum, these are both superlatives, judge. So it's in the past, imperfect. So the people of Rome, they thought that this guy here, who becomes the accusative after quam, he was the most truest and the most wise judge. Identitam, the adverb. Time and again, Solabat, he was accustomed to quaerere, to ask, in causes, when he's pleading causes in the court, fuesset, who had been, and this is one of the most famous statements ever, cui bono, to who is the good, or to who is the benefit. Sic vita hominum, thus is the life of man, it is, ut that, nemo, no one, conator, this is the opponent, no one tries for maleficium, to evil doings, ficio is doing and male is the badness, sine spe, without hope, atqui, and conator takes the infinitive, trying to add and without hope and emolument. This is probably in the ablative or from sine spe and emoluo. Emoluo is profit or advantage. So this is the life of men, or the ways of men, that no one tries to do any evil doing without hope and profit, without trying to add to his, and he's driven on by profit and hope, etc. 85. Hunk. This guy, who was the judge, as we're talking about, a quaesitor, who's making inquisitions, and ad judicum, he's in the court, he's the judge. Those people, they flee him, and they horribant at him, they bristle at him, they're horrified. in which these people periculum is creabatur, danger is created for these people. Idioquod, for the reason that Temetsi, although he is an amicus to veritatis, he's a friend to truth, or he's friendly to truth. Sounds like he's a good man. We saw he was verisimile and sapientibus up there. Tamen, nevertheless, in nature, he is not so propensus, not so inclined or with a propensity towards misericordia, which is pity, quem as is applicatus ad severitum, it seems, vidabatus, it seems. So he's more inclined and applied towards severity than towards misericordia, than towards pity. Ego quam, I, although, prayers to it questions. So the man who's prayers, the man who's in charge of this quasition, it's taking the dative here, of this inquisition, and most bravest. So he's talking about, in this case, the judge here, this Via, he's most fortissimus, he's very brave, superlative, against boldness and innocence, from the innocence, this is spelled wrong here, clementissimus, he's very clement towards the innocent, and he's has much braveness and boldness in other cases. Tamen, nevertheless, or yet or still, pateria, from patior, I will bear this or endure this most easily, facile me. Even illo ipso acerimi iudis, even if this other judge which we're talking about is very acerimo, he's very sharp or bitter in quaerenting, this is the ablative present participle. So he's talking about this judge here, he's very clement towards the good, but even if he was enduring this other judge, who we mentioned in the last few lines, even in an inquisition by him, here he is, Cassius. So Eutyches judges, so it was against Cassianus judges or juries, quorum of which even now, e quibus causa dicendes, this is the cause of pleading. There are those nomen ipself reformant, there's people who are dreading in their case, the name itself. He would dicere, he would speak for pro sextus Roscius. So this is Cicero saying, if you split this sentence up into an English form. So although the man in charge of this is very bold and clement to the innocent, nevertheless I would easily endure speaking for pro sextus Roscius, even if the most acerimo, the most fierce judge, was the one doing the inquisition, and upon judges who are maybe even like him, which even now people are reformed at. They're dreading or fearing such a name. So when he turned up to be the lawyer for this guy, they weren't expecting it, because he was a nobody, and they didn't think anyone would defend this guy either. 86. In haec anem causa, for in this case, or cause, when viderant, when they see illos, those, viderant's taking the infinitive, they're possessing the most amplissimum pecunium, an absolute huge hoard of money, and hunc, Cicero's a defendant, him is in summa mendicate, he's in the height of poverty and begging, they would not querent indeed, or even illud him to who the good had gone, cui bono, because it's obviously the person with the most, all this money, while the other guys are reduced to poverty, he's not the one getting the bono. But eo perspicuo crimen, so it's more clear or perspicuous in this crime and suspicion, that rather should be those adjoined to the praedem, to the booty or the prize, quam, then we see potius quam going together, rather and then, rather to those who get the estates, than to the one who is in egestatem, who is in poverty. Now Cicero continues, quid si, what if, if you add to this the same thing, ut that, anteri, before furus, you had been tenuous. That means you'd been the one in need or with very little pecunia, money or estates. Quid si, what if you had as been or were the avarice, the greedy one? So you'd been in poverty, you were the avarice one. And what if, quid si, you had been the audax one, the bold one? And quod si, what if, as this Ilias of the other one, qui accusus, who was dead, you had been the inimicismus one. Inimicismus. You'd been the most hostile one to him. So, if before you were in poverty, you were greedy, you were bold, and of the one who was dead, you were his biggest enemy. Num quorenda causa, whether or is there, this is indirect question, whether there's any cause of inquiring as to you to such a facinus, a deed or a crime, adduxerit. So is there any case for wondering what drove you to such a deed? Quid ergo horum, and what then of these things is potest negara, is able to be denied? The tenuitis, this again is the poverty. We saw tenuous up there if you were in poverty before. So the tenuity of this man, poverty of this man, of his means, of his mode of means in his poverty, non quiet dissimilari. This is not able to be covered up or dissimulated, the poverty of which type this man's now in. And eo magus elucit quo, we have eo and quo, the correlatives, and that the more it is brought to light by the way more you're trying to occulter it, the more you're trying to hide it. So the more you're trying to cover up how much in poverty this man is, the more it comes out into the light, coming from the light, the more open it is. Chapter 87. Avatari and prefers. So you're bearing your avarice, your greed, qui, which, societatem, I think that's spelled wrong, you're going into the joint, into this alliance, de munificus cognatiqui fortunas. So you've joined into an alliance, a society, with someone who's most alien, most foreign, concerning your munificus, someone who lives in the same municipality, and a cognate, a blood relative. As you saw, they had the same last name, Roscio, Sextus Roscius and T. Roscius. So you're showing your avarice when you join into an alliance with some foreigner over the fortunus, which is all the goods and the property of someone from your very municipal or town, and someone who's a blood relative, a cognati. Nearly done. Quam sis audax, that's the subjunctive, which is you are here with your boldness, ut alia oblivisca. So as I pass over, I'm forgetful of other things. This boldness which you have, hinc omnes, so everyone, omnes, potawit, are able to understand here and this, which, or because, from totus, from all this alliance, this is, in other words, from the whole amount of these sicarius, from all of these assassins, to solus, you alone, inventus, as you are found, qui whom you are ceteres, you are sitting with the accusers. So from this whole alliance which you've done, which was with the foreign basically, and from all these assassins or murderers alone, here you are found sitting amongst the accusers, and your os, your face, non modo, not only ostendere, you're showing, sed etiam offering, but you're even offering your shameless face, as they say. Inimicatices, this is hostilities for you, fuisi with Sextus Roscius. So there had been with to you and Sextus Roscius some hostilities, and Magnus Re Familias controversy. So Magnus controversies, great controversies in the matter of in your family group. It's necessary for you that you concede these hostilities and the enmity which was between you in this great controversy. And that's it for the day.